welcome to The Blu-ray Hunter. I'm the Blu-ray Hunter, Jonatnan Moody, and tonight we're going to be talking about Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. This is by far one of my newer favorites of his films. I watched this movie, I think it was a couple years ago, when I was on this Hitchcock kick, and I was buying all these Hitchcock movies, and I was renting all these Hitchcock movies, and I went to the library and I saw To Catch a Thief. I think it was on DVD at the time, and I was like, this looks like it'd be a fun one. And it has Cary Grant, one of my favorite Hitchcock guys, and it's got Grace Kelly, one of my favorite Hitchcock ladies. At the time, though, I don't even know if I was a huge fan of Rear Window. I don't think I was. So this movie and Dial M for Murder were my introductions to Grace Kelly. I had seen Rear Window, but I was not a fan. So I've talked about this on many of my videos, especially about Hitchcock. But I am not a fan of movies where it takes place in one central location, and Rear Window basically takes place in a window. I don't really find that as interesting originally. However, I rewatched it, and coming from a technical perspective, it is an amazing movie. Some of the shots that they get are just plain phenomenal, just like in this movie, To Catch a Thief. So basically the idea is this guy is being framed for committing these basically these thievery, and so there's a bunch of stolen diamonds and stolen jewelry and around in France, and they have no idea what's going on. So they think the first person they think is this guy who used to be a jewel thief, but he's stopped. He has not stolen anything in forever. He's actually settled down, had a real job. So he ends up evading the police, and with the help of a friend, ends up going out into and an ex-girlfriend who was a teenager apparently, which I thought was that would be very racy for this time. I don't know how, it would definitely not fly today. I was saying say it was George Clooney who's playing this role, they would never cast somebody to play a teenager. That would never happen. It's just not the way that the world, that the society has headed. But back then, I guess it was okay. It was just weird. It's weird to see that. So she helps him kind of escape, and he goes into this town, and he meets up with a guy who's doing jewelry stuff, and he's using him because he's a jewelry insurance guy. He's using him to basically try to draw out whoever's this thief and catch the person, but the person's too sneaky and ends up still stealing stuff all along the way. All the while, Cary Grant falls in love with Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly just plays one of the daughter of a woman who just loves jewelry, and Grace Kelly just loves the excitement of the thief and stuff. So it gets really, it's a little weird of a movie, and honestly, it's not one of those movies that I kind of expect from Hitchcock, but he does it so well. It feels like absolutely, when he puts in the credits, it says Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief, it definitely feels like a Hitchcock film from start to finish, with my favorite cameo by Alfred Hitchcock, by the way. So I'll have to explain this. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't know what you're doing. Go watch it, because it's really great. But there's a scene with Cary Grant evades the police the first time, and he gets on a bus, and he's in the back of the bus, and he looks over to his left and sees this lady. He looks over to his right, and then he sees Alfred Hitchcock. He's just kind of looking at him, like his old grumpy way, looking at him or whatever. And it was just weird and funny, but like, if everybody's expecting like Alfred Hitchcock, that would be the perfect place for him. So, anyway, that was a great cameo. Grace Kelly is just phenomenal. She's just, beautiful, sweet, down to earth, everything you expect from the Princess of Monaco. She was just amazing. And this was actually one of her last films before she became Princess of Monaco. And it really bummed out Alfred Hitchcock, because Alfred Hitchcock was just loved working with her and just constantly wanted to work with her. I think if he could have, he would have put Grace Kelly in everything. And I could see it, like she would have been perfect in North by Northwest. Though I do like the idea that Cary Grant's pretty much been with a bunch of different beautiful women like Eva Marie Saint and North by Northwest, or Joan Fontaine and Suspicion, and there's also Ingrid Bergman and Notorious. So he's been with all the beautiful blondes. I believe he's also made love to all of them too. Lucky son of a bitch. They are all just beautiful women, and Hitchcock definitely knows how to pick his women. They're not just beautiful women, by the way. They are beautiful women who have a lot of talent in acting. They're really good at what the characters that they get to portray. So they all bring something really great to their roles. Cary Grant, what can I say? Cary Grant is by far one of my favorite actors, period. Like, I just absolutely adored everything I've ever seen of him. I've never seen a bad movie, like I might have seen a bad movie that he was in, but he always did a fantastic role. The movie might have sucked, but he was the best in it. That kind of thing. No, I don't even see, I don't even think of any movies that I've seen that star Cary Grant that I've been like, that movie was bad. So, he usually picks great movies too. And To Catch a Thief is no exception. There's some amazing scenes in this film. The scene of the chase scene in the film is just phenomenal. Where Grace Kelly is losing the cops, and the cops are following him, and they're in the car, and just all the different people or things that they keep coming. They crash because the chicken stops them, and it's funny, but it's also just a wonderful scene. Obviously the ending scene with the chase on the rooftop. That's just pure Hitchcock. That's just much like the chase on the Mount Rushmore or whatever. He just loves those kind of things. The one thing it was missing, one thing I will say, is because it was not shot in America or even England or anything, but trains. I didn't see any trains in this movie. Don't remember any of them. That's the one thing I feel like this movie was missing out of it had every other element of Hitchcock: the wrong man, the chases, the icy blondes, everything. So I absolutely love this movie. Like, this film right here, that is just phenomenal. Great. So on the Blu-ray Hunter, I do like to talk about the special features. Last week on the Blu-ray Hunter, we had I had done Beyond the Law, the new movie, and it didn't have any special features, so I couldn't talk about it. But in this particular one, if you buy this one, I think it was like $10 on Amazon, I want to say. I think the most would be 20, but I don't think it's more than $20. I tend to try to stay 20 or below when I collect my Hitchcock stuff, because a lot of their stuff's about 10 to 15 depending on what it is. But it's got commentary by Dr. Drew Casper, a Hitchcock historian. A Night with the Hitchcocks, which I was about to watch, but then I decided I had to do this as quickly as I could so I could remember everything. A Night with the Hitchcocks is a really fascinating Q&A with the Hitchcock women that are still alive. Like, not the women that have been in the movies, but the Hitchcock women, like Patricia Hitchcock, I believe, is there, and his daughter and his granddaughter, and people like that, granddaughters. Apparently, they do a Hitchcock like class or something, and then the Hitchcock women come and talk about stuff. So that's pretty cool. Unacceptable order under the code, censorship in Hollywood. I think it's talking about a lot of stuff that got censored in To Catch a Thief, which they kind of went in writing and casting To Catch a Thief. We talked a little bit about the fact that they had to censor like the bathing suits and different stuff, and things that Hitchcock wasn't allowed to show certain things or whatever. So I think that's pretty interesting. Making of To Catch a Thief, like basically a small documentary. Behind the Gates, Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. Alfred Hitchcock and To Catch a Thief and Appreciation. Edith had the Paramount years, and if you love To Catch a Thief, you'll love this interactive travel log, which I think is kind of cool because in the beginning of the film they kind of show the France stuff, and then it says Cary Grant and Grace Kelly in To Catch a Thief, and I just thought that was pretty cool. I especially like the fact that they did that. So, and galleries. So this is packed with a lot of cool stuff. I do want to listen at some point to Drew Casper talking about To Catch a Thief, and I'm definitely gonna watch that. Like the A Night with the Hitchcocks, because one person asked them the question, like, what would Alfred Hitchcock think of like today's suspense and horror films, and I don't know I didn't get their answer, so I'm gonna say my answer right now, and I don't know if it's gonna be what they think. I think he would hate it. I think he would think Hollywood today of like Blumhouse and all these horror films are atrocious. I don't know, because he was around about the time that John Carpenter had done Halloween, which he cast Jeff. Was it? God dang it. My brain is like completely fried right now. Well, Janet Leigh's daughter. God, fuck, it's gonna hit me like later, and I'm gonna feel like an ass. And you guys are gonna be listening to this going, he's the Blu-ray hunter. He doesn't even fucking know Jamie Lee Curtis. Ugh! Jamie Lee Curtis. There you go. It hit me. All right. Jamie Lee Curtis. So there, he had John Carpenter had cast her, and he had died in 1980. I want to say 80. It might have been 80, 81, something like that. So he had died around then. And he had made, like, Family Plot was his last film. And I wonder if he had seen Halloween and just what his thoughts are. But I swear he probably, even though Frenzy is probably the closest to a Alfred Hitchcock slasher kind of thing, like I guess Psycho was, but like I don't know, that was psychological kind of stuff, like especially at the end. Maybe Frenzy had a little bit of that, but it was more like a slasher kind of thing. And so, he was sort of heading that way. That's where I think he would have gone, but I don't think he liked it. Like, I think he really liked what he did with, like, Notorious and Strangers on a Train, all these wonderful movies that he directed. So, anyway, you can watch my, I did a Film Freaks show about Alfred Hitchcock recently. So go check that out. And I think I mentioned To Catch a Thief and how I wasn't hugely into it, I guess. I thought it was okay. I got an appreciation after rewatching it today. It's definitely going to be one of those I'm going to rewatch. Because for some reason, I watched it going, this is just like balls to the wall awesome. Compared to, I guess, when I saw it before, I don't know if I was really that into it. But now I think it's just amazing. And I think you guys should check it out. If you haven't gotten a chance to see it, definitely go see it. Rent it, buy it, whatever you can. Kind of hoping, because streaming is becoming the new thing. And TC was a Turner Classic Movies used to have a streaming channel with Criterion. And that's gone now. So I'm wondering if they're going to do that again. Or if TCM is going to create their own streaming channel, which I would love to see, like a lot of these Alfred Hitchcock movies from Paramount and Universal and all the wonderful studios that had Alfred Hitchcock be a part of their stuff. So I would love to see that. I think honestly, I think this is by far this is going to be. I think I've said before that this wouldn't even be on my top 10, and I changed my mind. This is definitely going to be on my. This is on my top 10. I think almost everything with Grace Kelly, because I love Dial M for Murder, and everything with Cary Grant, like Rear Window, North by Northwest, Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart. I mean, all of these people are just wonderful, and they do such wonderful jobs in the films. It's funny how a lot of filmmakers, they start to kind of lose their, lose their cool leader, and they stop being great filmmakers, aside from like maybe Martin Scorsese and maybe even Steven Spielberg. But Hitchcock, I felt like as he got older, he got wiser, and he was able to keep making great movies. My favorite movie of his was like late in his career, which was Psycho. Late in his career, and To Catch a Thief, I think is up there. It is not the thriller in the sense of Notorious or North by Northwest or anything like that, but it's definitely still a great thriller, and it's a welcome back to Cary, because I think at that point Cary had done Suspicion and had done Notorious with Alfred, but didn't want to. He was feeling like he was too old, and maybe he was too old to be have a scene with Grace Kelly. But they did. I felt like there was some major chemistry in this movie. So, all right. Well, hope you guys enjoy this little review. If you guys agree with it or whatever, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't agree with it, tell me why. What's the matter? What do you guys think? Did you guys like To Catch a Thief? Did you guys think it was boring? I mean, what are your thoughts? And what's your favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies? Like, give me a list of your favorites. And I would love to hear more obscure ones, like Lifeboat or Strangers on a Train, Shadow of a Doubt, things like that like they don't really touch upon as much as like Vertigo or Rear Window or whatever. Like, I wanted some more of your obscure films. So what are some of your favorite Alfred Hitchcock obscure films? All right, well, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.